ignoring the fact that I messed this up royally, and just gotta fix it. But yeah, no, it's gonna be okay. We'll see. It'll be okay. All right.
Hi, I'm Amelia. I used to be an operating room nurse till I found out that I was pregnant, so I decided to trade in all of my scraps so I could be with my family. Come hang out with me as I remodel my home, quilt, restore furniture, and find thrifted goods for my home. Please subscribe so you don't miss anything. Thanks! This is the second episode of my Kentucky home remodel. In this episode, we are going to be tackling the first part of the bathroom. This bathroom is broken up into two pieces. The wet area, the shower and the tub being the main part, which took the most time, and then the other half of the bathroom, which will be in another episode.
So our plan for this bathroom is to take out the fiberglass insert, and we're going to put in a nice 5-foot, 32-inch tub, and then do some lovely tile. Chris and I went to a reuse store, and we got this gorgeous marble tile. Isn't that pretty, baby? Oh yes, he loves it. I'm not sure if it's marble or what it is. I wouldn't think it would be marble just because of how porous and soft marble can be. Oh, what do you see? But I do think it's beautiful. It's got cream tones, the gray tones, white tones, so you can really decide on what kind of color palette you want to use. Because the lady just retiled the floors in here, I figured we would just save the cost of redoing the floors and just keep what we have. I'll give you a shot of the floors right here. So the floor is a creamy gray color, which is gonna be great with the tile that we have chosen. And as far as a vanity update, I really don't wanna have to buy a vanity. I don't know if you guys have looked online to see how expensive vanities are, but
Okay, I'm going to save you the pain and misery of this monologue that I'm giving you. And let's just jump to the fun stuff. Demo.
Demo's done. Now I gotta take it all downstairs.
Wow. Okay, let's try and calm down from that heavy rock sesh. So this is the demo of the rough-in plumbing from the previous bathroom. And I learned a lot. One being, I probably should have just cut it out. I don't know why I tried to dismantle everything. And the second thing being, watch really closely. I am heating up a hot metal bar, and it's radiating heat to that vice grip. And then I put that vice grip in my armpit. 3, 2, 1. Oh God, it burns me. Yep, don't do that. That's an important thing to learn. I'm glad I learned that. Burnt my armpit, but you know what? That's okay. So all I was basically doing was trying to dismantle piece by piece. For some reason, I should have just cut it out. But what I did learn by sweating off every joint or some joints, is how to use and position my torch. And the sound that the torch makes, and knowing how much flame I can take without, feeling reckless. So I did learn stuff by trying to sweat off each joint. And it really just got me used to using it, just familiarizing myself with it. And for doing this for the first time, it was a good thing to do, I think, even though it took me long and I didn't need to do it. Here I am finally wising up and realizing that I don't really need to dismantle every single joint. So I took one of those like rotary cutters, and then it has a little arrow on it, and it shows you which way to twist it, cut it off, cut both sides off. That's my hot and my cold lines. Cut them out, and then I'm gonna put a shark bite on them after I clean and prep them for the shark bite, and just cap them so that I can go to bed, because I think this was like at 1 o'clock at night, like all my projects usually are. I didn't say this, but yeah, you definitely need to not have the water on when you're doing this. I didn't have the water on when I was doing demo, and I drained my tubes just in case I accidentally nicked one. I wouldn't spray water everywhere. So yeah, don't have the water on until you get those shark bites on. Okay, so here's a bit of an update. I am trying to dry fit this bathtub in, but problem is that the alcove is so tight that I can't maneuver it to get it in position. So what that means is I'm cutting into this wall, and I discover this piece of 2x4. This is not a structural piece. I can move it. It's like barely tacked in there. So I'm thinking if I'm able to get one corner in and slide it down, I might be able to make it work. So I'm going to cut this out, and then I'll cut that out, and then I think they just put this up for like the curtain, the shower rod, or not the shower rod, the shower doors. So I'll put it back when I'm done.
Take it too far, now I dwell in the sand like a fish on land. Like a fish on land.
This is me preparing my pipes for the final rough-in plumbing for the new bathtub. So I kind of just did this in stages. Did all the demo, did all the dry fits. Now I'm starting to rebuild. When you are doing copper piping, and you need to wear shoes, I don't know what I do, honestly. This is tinning flux. And you want to get lead free because this is a water line and you don't want lead in your water. So that tinning flux goes on both sides, the male outside and the female inside of the coupling. And then what you saw me do before the tinning flux was cleaning the piece. So I deburred it, and I did the little scrubby on the outside and inside of the fitting. When I placed my bathtub on that, dry fit, my pipes that were going straight up were actually rubbing against the edge of the bathtub, which is like not good at all. So I had to elbow them back into the studs because they were just sitting in the middle of the floor. They weren't inside of a stud. So the next thing is protecting the joint that I just soldered. So these are elbow couplings on 1/2-inch copper line, and if you have a joint that's freshly soldered, or really any joint that you don't want to, you know, kind of sweat off, you can wrap a wet cloth around it to protect it. And being an operating room nurse, I'm using hemostats to hold my cloth, and that works super great. So when I heat up my coupling, I heat it from the bottom because heat rises. And when I have my solder, I bend the tip 1/2 inch because it's a 1/2-inch pipe. So that way I know that I'm using the proper amount of solder. And what I actually like to do with more experience, I figured this out, is heat one side and then put the solder on the opposite side, because solder runs towards the heat. So you don't have to circulate like what I'm doing right there. You don't have to twist around to solder everything. Just push it. I want to give a thank you to my dad who helped me actually put in the bathtub. So right now I'm just doing the plumbing for the actual tub. It came with these parts, and so what I'm doing is I just get it hooked up, and then I mark it with a Sharpie, and I use a pipe cutter for PVC, cut it, connect it. It's like Lincoln Logs. It's not very hard.
Now I'm gonna patch this little spot here where I had to take out this stud so I could get my tub in, and patch it with some regular sheetrock and start taping and mudding. Then we'll do my red guard system and then tile. But yeah, my dad and my husband put this up for me because it's super heavy. So it was nice to have strong men. Okay, so that was super easy to cut. Now I just need to take this upstairs and get it roughed in. Okay. That'll work.
Yeah, it looks good. Good job. Your mama's awesome.
Okay. So, we are all human and we all make mistakes, right? So, let me tell you about my debacle. When my dad was here, I was directing him and telling him what I needed done. And I was very confident on this subject, and I thought I knew I was doing it right. Well, I wasn't. This is what I've got done. So, I ran into this problem last night when I was mudding and taping. A lot of YouTubers say to put the cement board where it meets, so that it stops and it meets the flange here. Well, nay, that's not right. It needs to go so that it rests on top of here. Especially for an acrylic tub, when it's very porous and it expands and contracts and it moves. So by doing it how I did it originally and mudding and taping it, it cracks, and as the tub moves and shifts into the wall, that's just gonna make this crumble. So I have to cut it out. So you see I cut it out. I'm gonna cut out this section, and then I'll cut out a little bit of this section, and cut pieces to replace it that will screw on and go over down to the deck of the tub. What a disaster. See, pride cometh before the fall, y'all. You keep yourself humble, because so frustrating. I hate having to go in and fix work that we already did, but that's just what happens, and it's just a learning curve. My first time redoing a bathroom, it's just a learning curve. So I'm glad I'm fixing it now. I'm glad I'm not, ignoring the fact that I messed this up royally. And Just gotta fix it. But yeah, no, it's gonna be okay. We'll see. It'll be okay. All right.
Okay, so it turned out fine. So what I ended up having to do was just use my grinder with a diamond, I think it's like a diamond plated blade at like a masonry bit, but for routers or grinders, excuse me. And I scored a line and I just kept going till it popped through. And yeah, I mean, it was time consuming, but it was totally fine. And it really did not affect, thus far, has not affected the look and feel of the bathroom. I also want to add that maybe not all bathtubs require you to go to the deck, but this is what my manual said to do.
Okay, so little tub update. Remember I had said that we all make mistakes. Yeah, so I'm fixing that mistake. I cut out that section and now I have a new board. I'm gonna put it up. This is gonna allow me to make sure that this bottom piece goes directly to the tub deck. So what I need to do now is get a bead of silicone and run it, let's see, right on that top of that, right here, right on the deck, and then place my board onto it, screw it up, clean off my excess. That's how I should have done it when we installed the cement board, but you know what? Live and learn. It's better to correct it now than to be too prideful to just keep pushing through. And I'd want to take my time and I want to make sure this is right. So this is exactly how the Kohler Archer tub instructions have it. So I'm feeling good that this is how the manufacturer says to do it. So I'm good with pushing out that information to you guys. So I cut my pieces and we'll just put them up. Yay!
So this is 100% silicone, which is important to know. You don't want to use anything other than 100% silicone. And then, yeah, just stuck it up there and screwed it into the studs with alkaline resistant cement screws. That is another important thing. So this is when the waterproofing started. Well, I take that back. Waterproofing started when we put the 3 mil thickness plastic membrane barrier all around in that alcove. That was the first step towards waterproofing. And then we did the cement board, which isn't waterproof, but it's a good barrier. And then to go on top of the cement board, I use Red Guard. So Red Guard is like a thick kind of plasticky paint. You roll it out like you would paint. So it leaves a texture on the wall. So I wanted to make sure that I was able to tape off where I didn't want it. I started the Red Guard process with a paintbrush and I did my seams and my corners first. And it comes out pink and you know it's dry when it turns red. It's pretty simple. You don't want to put it on too thick because then it can start to crack and that kind of defeats the purpose. But I think I liked it. I did 2 coats. I let 2 thin coats as the instructions told me to do. Let them dry and then you put on another one and then you just keep going from there. But I did the total alcove. Anything that was below the shower head got Red Guarded. Now we are starting the tile process. This was my first time ever using a tile saw by myself. I used masking tape to help with the rip out of the marble because it's very soft. Now that I have a few seconds of this clip to talk to you guys about today's sponsor. So the person who sponsored this video is my husband. I used to be, like in my interest, as a full-time operating room nurse, but you know, my husband's really gifted me with being able to stay home with my child and be able to create a home for our family, and that is amazing. I am so thankful every day that I married somebody that's totally opposite than myself. I've never been good at group projects, so to have a husband who is totally willing to put all the creativity in my hands is liberating, and I am so thankful that he is willing to just make the money for me so that I can play and create a home and try to be the best mom that I can be. So thanks, babe.
It's done. Well, the tile's up. I don't know if you guys can see. Got it all done. I used a brass trim, and now I have my grout made, and I'm doing it in white because I'm not a professional tiler, so not every single space is perfect where the two 12x12s meet. So I tried my best and I think I did okay for my first time. I had a lot of learning experiences, and I know what I won't do next time. One of them doing this tile. But yeah, no, I think it's gonna turn out great. I just need to grout it and then go from there.
For this grout, I chose Cara Color Unsanded because these gaps between the tile is less than 1/8 of an inch thick or wide. So you want something that can really push in there. And then I used a float, holding it at a 45-degree angle, pushing it into the crevices. That way you're not pulling it out if you go at a different angle. You want to go 45 degrees against where you're going.
So the tile's up. It's been grouted. Okay, look at that. Fixtures are on. And my valve body was in the right spot. Look at that. And my shower head. So what I'm gonna be doing now is there's these little bits like this right here. I just need to take a razor and scratch those little parts off. I did an acid wash to get the haze off, and that part worked really good. I just have like I said, those little, like a few little tiles that I wasn't able to scrub completely good when I was finished grouting. I have a little fine razor that'll just scrape those off without scratching. And then I'm gonna caulk it, put on my grout sealer, and then put on my natural stone sealer. I'm so excited. I just want this to be done. It has taken such a long time, but we're getting close. I'm feeling good about it. I think it looks good. It looks fancy. I have to do the drywall. But we're going there. I didn't show me doing tile because if this is a family show, you don't want me doing tile on it because I just cuss up a storm. Tiling it's not my craft. This is my first time doing, well, I've done tile before, but just small projects, not like massive things like this. And it's just tricky. So, all right, I'm gonna get to work.
So in that previous clip, I had mentioned that I was gonna do my natural stone sealer and my grout sealer. Well, they're basically the same thing. So what I did is I just took a microfiber cloth with the sealer on it, put it on there, and then you rinse it off after like five minutes. I think you just read the instructions. It's pretty simple, and it's just more of a leg and butt workout than I expected. This was an amazing moment. I never thought this day would come. Like, honestly, golly, I never thought I'd ever have water in this bathroom ever again. But you know what? Push through. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. So coming up on the next video, you'll be seeing the other part of the project. This includes drywall repair. I hire a new contractor to help me finish this bathroom. But as cute as he was, he stopped showing up for work after this clip, so I had to let him go. Poor guy. He took it fine though, so it's no big whoop. And then we moved on to tackling some electrical stuff. So if you want to see that and see if I get electrocuted, click subscribe. And then I put a hole in the wall. But I rebuilt the wall, so not too bad. And the piece of resistance of this whole bathroom remodel is the vanity. Oh, goodness gracious. This poor ugly thing, it's getting a total makeover. See that countertop? I made that countertop, and I'm going to show you how in the next video.
Aren't I handy? I'm screwing something the slowest possible way because I can't find my drill. So handy.
Get the last one.
This isn't a family affair. But the good kind, huh?